Great time this year at the Arizona Fall League watching the Angels prospects play. Saw the Angels Arizona Fall League team more than anybody, and I kind of like what they've done. However, I was very surprised when Dallas Keuchel reached terms with the Chicago White Sox, $55 million over 3 years. I thought for sure that the Angels were in there, but when news of the deal emerged, only a short time after Billy Epler addressed the teams and his addition of Julio Teheran, it was kind of weird. I thought they would definitely get Hyun-Jin Ryu. They didn't do it. Based on they have some financial flexibility. Based on the luxury tax threshold of $208 million, they have roughly $25 million remaining in the budget to address the need highlighted as their top priority. They lost 90 games last year. No starter took 20 turns, and only one pitcher eclipsed the 100 innings mark, and that was Trevor Cahill with 102. The Angels, I thought they were going to dedicate the offseason to getting Keuchel and Hyun-Jin Ryu. But they didn't do it. Two-way player Shohei Ohtani, his pitching workload will be limited as he works his way back from Tommy John surgery. So, look, they acquired Dylan Bundy in an early deal. Epler added two pitchers who have made at least 28 starts per season since 2016. So the staff will be stabilized. Andrew Heaney, Griffin Canning, Teheran, Bundy, and then you got left-handers Patrick Sandoval, Jose Suarez, and Dylan Peters, and maybe Jaime Barria, who will compete for the a rotation spot as well. So, look, that's what the Angels have done in an overview. And let's take a look position by position, because this way we can cover Albert Pujols, who knocked in 93 runs last year, and a lot of that had to do with the fact that Mike Trout was always on base. I wonder how many times Mike Trout scored, giving Albert Pujols an RBI. 245, 20 to 25 homers, 85. Look, he's 40 years old. I'm still giving him these numbers, right? Still giving him those numbers. I drafted Albert Pujols in his rookie year. Yes, I did. So, look, they still have 2 more years of salary on the books for Pujols. Third consecutive year, which he was below average offensively as a first baseman. Okay, but with Mike Trout setting the table, 245, 22 to 25 home runs, 85 RBIs is very doable for Pujols. At second base, they got Danny La Stella at second base. Oh, my goodness. This is a tough one to pick, okay? Danny La Stella at second base. And I don't know what to make of Danny La Stella. Last year, he was such a big surprise that you just didn't know. First of all, he's not Danny. He's Tommy La Stella, okay? He's Tommy. I call this guy Danny all the time, so when I do, please forgive me, because he's he's Tommy La Stella, okay? Anyway, here's what we got for La Stella. Last year, if you remember, he hit a surprising 295 with 16 homers. Didn't steal a base. He'll hit you about 280 this year. I'll say 10 home runs. Not looking for him to be a big player. He joined the Angels in 2019, played 4 years in Chicago, and then last year, that surge, that could have been the ball. He began the season with 10 home runs in 828 career at-bats. So he matched that total after his 102nd at-bat last year. All right? So, I don't know. I can't imagine. And then you get the switch hitter, Luis Rengifo. Luis Rengifo could absolutely take La Stella's job away from him, okay? So just be very careful. If you are drafting La Stella at a bargain, Rengifo could be taken in the reserve round. He had a hand injury last year, okay? He hit 238 last year. Did hit 7 home runs. He did hit 7 home runs. He stole 2 bases. I think he could steal. He was shut down with a broken hand. He's got the potential to steal. He's got a resume with 22 steals, 29, 22, 13. He could run. So just remember, La Stella, nobody expected what he did last year. As far as Andrelton Simmons is concerned, He is what he is. He's defensively, he's a wizard. Offensively, he'll be mediocre at best, so don't expect a lot from him. I'm saying 275, 10 home runs, maybe 15 stolen bases if we get lucky. He's approached the 30-year mark, so watch out. Anthony Rendon, switching from the National League to the American League, but still he's going to put up Anthony Rendon numbers, pay full price. Justin Upton, if he could only stay on the field, we would be a lot happier. Here's what I'm predicting for Upton, and I think he's been a little undervalued in a lot of fantasy baseball drafts that I have seen. So to me, Justin Upton's going to wind up hitting about 250. Got that bad knee, was on crutches for a couple of weeks. 25 home runs. It's just in his system, and he'll get you about 80 RBIs. But he began the year on the injured list. He had turf toe. He ended the year back on the injured list with a bad right knee. In between that, he played in only 63 games. 63 games is all he played last year. Not a lot. 256 plate appearances. So when you're looking at his numbers from last year, which were I won't say respectable, but 12 home runs. We got somebody who just entered the studio and is now scratching the blackboard with her fingernails. All right, but that's what happens around here. Anyway, don't be sorry. Just be yourself. Okay, now, so you got Rendon, Upton. Do I have to tell you about Mike Trout? I got to tell you about Brian Goodwin, though. And Brian Goodwin could be a very sneaky pick, but I'd hesitate to take him, and I'll tell you why as soon as I get to the prospects, because the prospects could be better than the suspects, whatever that means. Okay, so, boy, we got a big crowd in here today. So with Goodwin, if he gets off to a good start, he's got to get off to a great start. I know he's been around a couple of years. He'll hit you 240, maybe hit you 10 home runs and steal 5 bases. The pitching staff out here in the Angels, you got Haney, Bundy, Canning, Turan. They're all innings eaters. That's about it. Andrew Haney could be the only one who could jump off the page and actually be an asset to your fantasy baseball team, and certainly in an American League only, I would grab him. Andrew Haney will have a 4.2 ERA and a 1.23 WHIP, 150 strikeouts, but with good help. He's had solid peripherals. We thought a breakout campaign was imminent. Instead, elbow irritation got him. Shoulder ailment got him. Wiped out weeks of numbers last year, so just be careful. He's 28 years old. Now, here's what I like about the Angels. This, believe it or not, I've always said a rookie is a rookie is a rookie. But that means that we pay so much for rookies. We overpay for them. In this particular case, Joe Adell, 20 years old. I saw Adell, I saw all these guys 5 or 6 times. He's got 4 tools. He's got 5 tools, okay? He looks like an all-star. Everything he does. He had 290, had 10 home runs, 7 out of 7 stolen bases when he played last year. He's going to be a star. 6'3", 215. He is definitely going to be a star. Joe Adell, not somebody that you've never heard of, but somebody when I saw him, he just... he was the number 1 guy in the Arizona Fall League for me. He just looked like a ball player. But although some people say you always bet on the athlete, other people say he's always a better athlete than he is a baseball player. So he's always been steady on the upward swing, 10th overall draft in 2017. The player that Andrea Lamont says is going to be better than Joe Adell is Brandon Marsh. And I'll tell you what, got some raw tools, all right? And they're now turning into tools. He has pinballed around prospect rankings since being drafted, but I got to tell you, last year he had 286. He makes good contact. He had 7 home runs. He was 19 out of 24 in stolen bases. This guy has energy. He slides into second base after stealing a base, stands on the bag, and he does a little dance on the bag. I mean, this guy is amazing. He's 6'4", 215. I got to tell you, if you've never heard of Brandon Marsh, you got to pay attention, because Brandon Marsh is going to be one heck of a player. With those two guys coming up, Jeremiah Jackson at shortstop, he's got nowhere to go over there. As far as pitchers are concerned, nobody who could come up, nobody quick. Maybe Jose Soriano has got a very high ceiling. He's a right-handed pitcher, but he's got to learn how to put it all together. There's really nobody else that I expect. Patrick Sandoval, fastball, changeup. He's a lefty. He had a down season, but they're very optimistic about him. He's 23 years old. He made his major league debut at age 22. It would be hard not to call Sandoval's 2019 season a little bit of a disappointment. We had a 5 ERA, struck out 25% of the batters, walked 11%, but still, plenty of reasons for optimism. 6'3" lefty is very intriguing. Got that four-seam curveball, slider, changeup. His fastball's around 93 to 95, touched 96, 97, but low spin, okay? That's what they say about him. But still, keep an eye out for Patrick Sandoval. So here's what I'm doing for the Angels. 85.5, I'm going over. 30-1, I'm not touching. 15-1 to win the division, I'm not touching that either. But that's the Angels.